All right, so here it is. We have it all put together right here. Chassis has made contact along with the body, and here it is, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and just preview it real quick, and I'm gonna talk to you guys about a couple things as well regarding the build. So as you can see right off the top, right in front, right there, we're working on fixing that. We're sanding the chrome parts because we want them to fit a little snug in there. Obviously, you clear coat it, these areas, and it builds up, right? But at the same time, the part is also had a lot of flash and it was a lot bigger. It was just like sticking out. It looked kind of wild, you know? And I had to get some, sanding pads to knock that down right there. You know, you want to get something that has a that you could bend with the radius to sand round and knock that down. So we've been working on that, sanding the inside and the and around over the top. So on the top part, there is going to be a section where you could see the bare plastic on there, right there. Oh, here it is. But we're gonna go ahead and add some of the Hasagawa mirror finish. So that's gonna bring back the chrome right there. Let's take a look at the engine bay right here. Let me go ahead and tilt it just a little bit. As you can see it all right there. Bang, everything's in there. Let's look at the bottom. Here, I gotta hold the hood now. Now this is different. So here's the bottom. We got all that tucked in there right there. And something regarding about the bottom. So when I was fitting this all together, there was a lot of tension. Like I said, you're adding all these components and you're putting it in, and it's different from when it's empty, right? When it's emptying, everything fits perfect, like cool. But I started to notice there was a lot of tension, and once I managed to kind of fit everything in it, but it was still off, I was examining the body. You want to examine it, and then I realized, you know what? I need to shave off at least 1 millimeter from like the top of the firewall and other areas inside. That's what I needed to do. So I took it apart again. I started to sand the top of the firewall because when it makes contact with the dash and even just this mid portion right here, it was really tight. So once I did that and I looked, there's space, and I was like, oh man, that's super cool. Here, let's change the angle. I might be able to show you that right here. Let's see if it captures it. It's in black. You could kind of see it. Let's see right there. The firewall making contact with the body. There's a little line now you could see, but before, oh man, it was bad. Like it just looked pretty crazy. And even the hood was popping out, being really wonky and weird. So I was like, oh, what the heck? What's going on? As far as the bottom too, like I noticed that like this part's normal. This one, it was pushing this like out so much. So what I had to do is I had to actually shave 1 millimeter off of the whole side as well. I cut it and then I sanded it. And I want to bring that to light because sometimes we don't talk about these kind of things. We kind of just slap it together and then we say, oh, it wasn't a good build, nothing, whatever. We always talk about the negative, right? But let's point out, you know what? How about we do these switch ups, or you could do this in order to make it a positive, right? In order to get it done. And, everything's all right here, I mean, yeah, you could say, oh, well, not everything goes well together. I mean, it is a mold from back in the day, and that's fine. I mean, they did what they could back in the day. We're lucky that these are being brought back again, right? And a lot of the times we're just spoiled, right? We want everything to fit perfect. We want nothing to be challenging. We want everything pre-mixed and everything. But then, how are we gonna learn? This is like problem solving. This is trying to figure out what, and it is hard. I mean, starting off, it's tough, but the more you do it, the more you start to figure it out, the more you start to gain confidence, the more you start to enjoy it. Once you're in that area where you're just knocking builds out left and right and you're starting to enjoy these paint jobs, you love the color combinations, clear coating, all these different things start to come together, that's when like scale model building becomes very fun. Obviously, it gets frustrating and everything, but part of the fun is also being part of the community, hanging out with your friends. If you can go to shows, if you live close to areas where they have events, like that's a major plus. If you're able to travel and see your buddies, like look at the back. You see right here, it's sticking down more than that, and that's fine. I'm not gonna let it bother me or I can't sleep because, like I said, once we get the trunk, the rear bumper set, like let's line it up right there. You're not even gonna be able to tell. You don't know what's going down there, unless I show you right there. Boom. So it's all good, and yeah, the model was a little tricky in the beginning, but we had to kind of maneuver and figure it out. I remember as a little kid, I'd be hanging out with my dad, and like my dad would have to do something, and I would get a little like, oh, like already trying to wrap my head around it. How are we gonna do that? Like I felt like it's not possible, right? Or I'd be kind of worried about it or whatever the situation was, and he would always be like, don't worry about it. Like don't even worry about it. Like we'll figure it out, And that's always kind of been the attitude, of like that's it's like a confidence of like don't worry about it, just because over the years you do figure it out, from experience. And I'm sure a lot of you guys, parents or grandparents, and just loved ones or even friends, have someone that's like always they know what they're doing, and they just go for it, and you're like, dude, how'd you do that, and it's like, dang. So it's a trip, but those are kind of little things that I kind of just when I jump into this, and I actually do feel like right now I'm in the this like I'm just enjoying it right now with everything I'm doing. Even if I mess up, I'm embracing the mess ups, or I'm figuring out like, all right, how are we gonna fix this? We have to figure this out. Like, how are we gonna do it? Because, or else how am I gonna learn? And every time I see custom paint jobs, I go, man, it's like I'm trying to figure out what they did, and then once I start to decipher and start to notice, oh shoot, they started off with this, and then they did this and this. That's when I get really excited once I start figuring stuff out. So I just hope that this stuff helps you guys uh, with my builds, what I'm doing. This is kind of the way I build like my stuff. I look up to a lot of model builders. There's a lot of people out there that are just phenomenal, doing great work. And when I see their stuff at the shows or even on Instagram, on YouTube, I'm just admiring and blown away by the work they do. And I also like simplicity too. I like when friends keep it chill. Like, they'll do like a curbside, or they'll do like a flat bottom, and just anything. It's just like, that's dope. Like to me, it's just, hey man, you're model building, that you're doing something like that's a way of contributing to the hobby, because every build you do and you put out there, someone's looking at it. Someone's getting inspired. Someone's like, man, that's dope. Like, I want to get back into building too, and do my thing and everything. And, this car will be done soon. Like I said, I think at this point we got to get into the chrome. That's going to be the next thing. I already know my homework with these two front parts I need to do. And then the rest right here, I have this little homework I got to do as well. And we're gonna start to put everything together. I did see a comment. I haven't replied to it yet, but I need to soon. Somebody had commented because I had kept mentioning that I've been using a lot of the crystal clear in white, which I have right here. And somebody did mention, hey, you could use the Super Gold Plus as well, and it will not fog up your glass. And yeah, you are right. You're correct. I'm sorry I haven't replied yet, but I will soon. And he's right. You could use this as well. So it's going to be a combination of both that I'm going to be using. So for example, in the rear part right here, I'm going to be very, very careful about the glue situation. I might not use the super gold. I'll most likely use the crystal clear. That way, when I put the piece in, if a little bit glue like seeps out, once it starts to dry, you could get a little little wooden stick, and you could just like I don't want to use the word like scratch, but you could just remove it, right? it'll capture it. And for like the bumpers, all this bigger heavy duty stuff, I want to rock this right here. And with my accelerator, once I do put a little drop accelerator, it'll be like solid right there and we're done. So I think the way I'm going to go about it is pretty much gluing these down first, headlights, you know, all the rear bumpers and everything, and then this will probably be the last piece I put is the front face, the front bumper and all that. You know, all this combined, that'll be the last piece right there, and then, you know, I'll be doing a video on it as well. Another thing too to add before I go is the cutting mat. So I keep talking about the cutting mat, and I know some people don't understand, like, or I guess I don't know, like, because I get questions about it. So the cutting mat, this is tempered glass, and one of the reasons why I like it is just because, you know, I can maneuver this model around. You know, obviously you could pick up your model and everything, but let's say you're working on a project or anything, you can move it around like that. The other thing I like about it is the mock-up. So right now with wheels, right, the back wheels, I know for a fact they're sitting nice and flat right there. When you come down to the front, I didn't really use any CA glue. I used the crystal clear glue, so that way I could still manipulate the wheel. If you see this one, it's kind of off. It's a bit little, like a little bit cambered, I guess you could say. And when I set this on this is nice and flat. So this is an indicator of like, hey man, your tire's not. Let's see, we're gonna move it right now. It's not flat. Here we go. No, it's more flat. You see how it kind of moves? Look at that right there. So pretty much what I need to do now that I feel like, okay, cool. What I could do now is I can remove them. And now we could go down to the super gold right here. And CA glue them. And I could pretty much, as they're drying, set them in here and just let them, you know, and I could put tension or whatever. So this way, those tires line up and they're flat. You know, this table is pretty flat as well, but I had used other tables that are not flat whatsoever. Those other tables are kind of warped. They're kind of weird. And what ends up happening is I would like set it up. Next, you know, my car's like in a 3-wheel motion, being all weird. And stance is always like the hardest thing to get on a build, especially at the end when you're wrapping up, you're putting everything together, you're excited for the show, and then next thing you know, you're like, wait, why is my model acting weird? You know, but yeah, that's the thing I like about this. And we do have these on the website, scalewriters.com. All right, guys, I'm going to take off. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's quite a long one, but hey, I had to get into it and talk about this stuff. All right, man. Peace, guys. Later.